we do want to preface all of this with saying that we are not very high on any of the quarterbacks going into this. They need a bigger meteor man.
God damn it. Bigger meteor man.
Yes, you get bigger.
Now I'm involved. I'm invested in
I
this.
told you were already
Hi
involved.
guys, they drug me in here. I didn't want to end this. And that's what's up, dog, guys.
Hello, and welcome to Updog Sports Talk. My name is Matt Miller. Joining me today, we got Chad Bunt and Justin McGovern. What's going on, fellas?
What's up, everybody?
We are going to go over our second mock draft as we approach closer and closer to the draft in April. We did one, what was it, December? We're doing one in February, almost March. And we'll probably do one or two more before we get to our final. But we do want to preface all of this with saying that we are not very high on any of the quarterbacks going into this. Justin, you said you had a comment on how you did your draft.
Yeah, so when I went into this draft, I pretty much went into my mock thinking, what are the teams going to do? And that's the basis of my mock. I also took some past trends. So, usually when we get to the NFL draft itself, we tend to see defensive linemen, corners, offensive linemen go earlier than we expect, while wide receivers tend to drop. So that's something that I kept in mind as I went through mine. What about yours?
I didn't go really trends. I went more team needs, and I can explain it a little bit as we go on, but it was hard to go against opinion. Opinion was that this order would be completely different. So yeah, I kind of went with team needs and where players are kind of generally going, as told by NFL scouts and stuff like that. So
I'd probably agree. I went team needs, and I said best available was a lot of things. A lot of draft picks I had here were best available in their team needs. So it may not be the best player they probably wanted at first, but I think you can take solid players that way.
Yeah. So Justin, let's go ahead and get started.
Yeah. With that, let's go ahead and dive into this thing, shall we? All right. So with the number one pick, we have the Chicago Bears.
All right. So I'm starting out tonight, right, boys?
Yep.
So I got the Chicago Bears taking Marvin Harrison with the first pick. I think Marvin Harrison is the best talent in this draft overall. I think his relationship with Justin Fields and his relationship with DJ Moore already says a lot. I think the fact that the Bears didn't move on from Poles or Eberflus this offseason says that they're going to try and build around Justin Fields and give him a chance to actually succeed. So I think they'll take another weapon for him. Probably one of the most dynamic duos in the NFL if this happens.
Yeah, I would agree.
Do you think the Bears will stay at one to take Marvin Harrison Jr., or do you think they'll try to trade down again?
I don't think they're going to do that 2 years in a row. I think they're staying at one. They're going to take Marvin Harrison, take the sure thing. And just try to build around Justin Fields and give him a chance,
Yeah.
I think that top weapon. That's too logical for the Bears. I have them just starting all over and taking Caleb Williams, trying to trade Justin Fields for a second-round pick. Honestly, if Marvin Harrison had better yak, I think that a much better argument could be made for him going number one. But wide receivers aren't valued in this league, so you can get a wide receiver anywhere. Bill Belichick went to Walmart for years and just got cashiers and decided to put them in at wide receivers. So I have Caleb Williams going first.
Yeah, I have the same pick. I'm not entirely sure if it's going to be the Bears at that pick, but I think no matter what, Caleb Williams ends up going number one.
I mean, I do think there's a good chance that the Bears could trade a pick. I don't think they're going to trade the number one, though. I think if they do
I
anything, they'll
don't think so.
trade the 9, and maybe move up if someone wants to drop back, or drop back later in the draft and assess and maybe get an extra pick out of it.
Not unless they got like a Ricky Williams haul.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of options. And it's hard to say too without assessing free agency and all this stuff too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, Chad, do you want to say who the Commanders are getting?
I think the Commanders are going to go a little bit different. I think than what you guys have said. I think they're going to go offensive line because I think Sam Howell had a really, really good start of the season and really led the league in passing yards, right? And I think
for quite a while.
if they protect him, I think that Joe Alt would be a great addition to their offensive line. Maybe keep him from getting sacked less than 62 times. That'd be cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, he got sacked a lot.
He did.
Unfortunately, I don't think the new ownership, new GM, new head coach, new offense coordinator kind of want to go that route. I think they want to start completely over. Jaden Daniels had one hell of a year last year. The way Cliff Kingsbury's quarterback styles go, Jaden Daniels fits right into that. So I think they take Jaden Daniels over Drake May.
Yeah, that was a very good point you made, because I was kind of teetering between the two. And your point there actually kind of ended up leading me to go with Jaden Daniels at number 2. We were going to talk about this before the draft, so I decided to kind of go the same way on that one.
By the way, going back to the Bears pick real quick, Shane Walden, the offense coordinator, his style of play also complements Caleb Williams, so that kind of feeds into why I think Caleb Williams at the number 1 pick. So, Chad,
let's get to these Patriots, because that's the team that's going to take Caleb Williams. I think they're moving on from Mac Jones. I think the new head coach needs a new quarterback and maybe a new wide receiver. Boom, bang, pop.
Yeah, they need a lot. Gerard Mayo has his hands full trying to take over for what Bill Belichick actually tore down from all those years of success.
What would Bill Belichick do?
As Walter Football said, Mac Jones sucks. So I think Drake May, he's the best available quarterback. I honestly don't have him as the best overall player available, but they need a quarterback real bad. And Drake May, he's smart.
I think we both kind of share an opinion that we aren't as high on Drake May as some of these people appear to be. But I mean, it does look like teams are high on him, and that's what matters. So that's why I also see the Patriots going with him. I mean, there's no way they can't go with a quarterback here. Mac Jones has lost the locker room and everything. There's no way they can go back to him.
No.
Yeah. I think Bailey Zappi's more like
Chad.
Number 4, we got the
yeah, he is.
What?
Yep.
What'd you say? So Arizona Cardinals, I got Malik Neighbors, wide receiver from LSU. I think what they were lacking last year was the hole that DeAndre Hopkins left. I think they need a guy they can just dump the ball to a lot. 90% of the passing plays have to go through him. I think Malik Neighbors is that guy. He did it last year at LSU. I think he could be pretty successful in the NFL.
I have the Cardinals also going with a receiver, but my number 1 overall player in this draft, Marvin Harrison Jr. No way am I taking Neighbors over him. Kyler Murray needs some weapons. D-Hop went to Tennessee. The rest of the receivers really haven't panned out. So you get a stud like Marvin Harrison Jr.
It's going to be
Might as
Neighbors
well
if Marvin Harrison's gone, number 1, dude. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
Number 1.
I think we all echo the same. We echo the same sentiment here. We all agree that the Cardinals really need a number 1 receiver. I also have Marvin Harrison Jr. still on the board, so that's where they go with this pick.
Junior.
Really give Marvin give Kyler Murray a top weapon to throw to.
Solid,
number
solid.
5.
Number 5, we got the LA Chargers. I got Brock Bowers, tight end from Georgia. I think Jim Harbaugh is going to come in there. He already has his quarterback. He already has wide receivers. I think he could work on the defensive line and maybe defensive backs, but I think he's going to take the best available talent at this point, and that's why I say take Brock Bowers. As much as I'd like
I
to see
agree.
him fall to the Bengals.
I agree with Brock Bowers going to the Chargers. I honestly think the Chargers might actually end up trading back to get him. I think there's other candidates, quarterbacks, tackles, and stuff that are a little bit more pressing need for other teams. So I think they'll be safe trading back for Brock Bowers. But since we don't do trades, Brock Bowers going to LA.
Mm-hmm.
That actually probably would have been a good idea to mention at the intro that we didn't do trades.
No trades, guys. We don't do those.
We did not do trades, by the way. This is our first consensus pick. We all agreed that Brock Bowers. The Chargers keep trying to get weapons and haven't really succeeded. They need someone who's explosive and can make plays. Brock Bowers is that guy.
With the 6th pick, the New York Giants, I'm not even going to try to attempt to butcher this, but the offensive tackle from Penn State, Fashanu, I think they've committed Daniel Jones already this offseason, and if they're going to commit to him, they need to protect him. They need to get him an offensive tackle that's going to be worth a damn.
I normally would agree with you, but Saquon's hitting free agency. His receivers kind of suck. He doesn't really have a tight end. Daniel Jones. I mean, they could go quarterback here, but I think with how much they paid him, you got to at least give him a weapon, give him one more year, decline his 5th-year option, move on.
Yeah, I was kind of torn. I decided to go with the linemen rising up. You can find. I think teams believe they can find good receivers in later rounds.
Yeah.
And the Giants seem to have that belief, so that's why I had them going with an offensive lineman here, Joe Alt out of Notre Dame. He's an absolute monster and someone who can finally give this team some pass protection. I mean, how long has the Giants' offensive line been bad? I'm pretty sure that they've been bad long enough to run Eli Manning out.
Bobby Hart.
That's all you got to say.
All right, 7th pick overall, the Tennessee Titans. I've got them taking Romo Dunse. Is that how you say it?
Dunse.
Yeah, wide receiver. I think that's another team that Will Levis could really benefit from having some weapons. Obviously, they're going to need to fill the hole of Derrick Henry if they don't sign him for some reason. But I don't really see running backs in the first round this year.
No.
There's going to be some 2nd, 3rd round backs that'll be really interesting. But
spoiler alert: we have no running backs going in this one.
But yeah, I got him taking a wide receiver here. They need him pretty bad.
I have them going a different route. I have them going Joe Alt, 6'7", stud out of Notre Dame. They're going to either move Skaronski to right tackle or move him to guard. That offensive line is terrible. Will Levis, I mean, he started off hot, but didn't really have a whole lot of help. Wide receiver would be a good pick, but man, that offensive line is terrible.
They do have D-Hop for one more year, though.
Yeah.
Yeah. The Titans used to rule the AFC South, and when they did that, they had a really good offensive line. Some guys got older. They tried to address it in advance with, I think, Isaiah Wilson. Then he was out of the league in 1 year, just a massive bust. So terrible decisions like that by the GM and not keeping up with the offensive line is why things have fallen apart for Tennessee. So they need to build it back up, and that's why I have them taking an offensive lineman as well with Fashanu from Penn State.
All right. Next up is the 8th pick, the Atlanta Falcons. I got them taking Jaden Daniels here. I think Desmond Ridder experience is not working out, and they need to get someone who can throw the ball to their weapons like Drake London and Kyle Pitts. They need to start hitting those guys. If not, I would say maybe they could take a wide receiver here. That'd be cool for them. But I was thinking Jaden Daniels.
I agree with the quarterback position. I have them reaching for JJ McCarthy. Um, I don't think JJ McCarthy is worth the 8th overall pick, but from what I'm hearing, he's definitely going top 10.
I didn't want to.
I don't want to do that either, but I think he played his way in to consideration with Michigan winning the national championship, and then Jim Harbaugh, his word carries a lot of weight around the league still, and I think him praising JJ McCarthy so much, I think teams are going to bite on that and kind of reach for JJ McCarthy here.
I
Yeah,
could see it.
thing.
I have the Falcons going a different route here. I actually think the Falcons will end up addressing the quarterback position in free agency or trading for someone like Justin Fields. So, with that being said, I think they end up going defense here. The Falcons have needed a pass rush for what feels like a decade now. So that's why they take Dallas Turner out of Alabama to finally get themselves a top defensive lineman.
Okay, number 9 pick, we got the Chicago Bears, and that's where I had actually Dallas Turner. I was thinking initially, I think the Bears would try and take an offensive lineman here to help protect their quarterback that they're building around Justin Fields. But after drafting Fashanu and Alt, I figured they would go with the best available, and that's an edge rusher that I think they desperately need the pair with Sweat. So I took Dallas Turner here.
See, I had mocked Dallas Turner going to the Falcons for a while. I thought about him going to the Bears, but then I remembered they have 70 million in cap. I think they're going to go out and get one of the plethora of defensive ends that are going to be out there. Maybe even bringing Khalil Mack back if he ends up being a cap casualty. I have them going a wide receiver here in Rome Odunze, pairing him with Caleb Williams and DJ Moore. I think that offense will start turning around.
Played with that idea, like if they took Marvin Harrison and then they took Roma Dunse.
That would be the weapons galore, but still no blocking.
Yeah. Yeah, this is the one where I really struggled with what I wanted to see them do and what they will actually probably do. And I ended up talking to our friend Joe, who's a Bears fan, about it. And he mentioned that with Eberflus's influence, they likely are going to want to go defense with this pick. So that's why I ended up going with, I'm not going to try to pronounce his first name, Latu out of UCLA. Another pass rusher off the board. That's really the one piece that's kind of lacking from the Bears defense after they really, hit a stride late in the year last year.
Interesting. So at the number 10 pick, we got the New York Giants. I have them taking Zach Wilson Jr., Drake May.
That's close enough.
I think that with them letting Zach Wilson go, they need to have a contingency for Aaron Rodgers getting hurt again, right? And I think that they'll probably try to get a guy that they can groom to when Aaron Rodgers is gone. And I think Drake May is probably on my board right now. He's the best available.
I think the Jets might actually end up trading like a second or third, maybe a third or fourth round pick for Sam Howell and addressing the quarterback position for the future that way. But here at 10, I'm going for Shanu. They're going to need a stud tackle. Becton's hitting free agency. Their offensive line is still trash. So for Shanu, best tackle available.
Yeah, I know Rodgers got hurt by a freak incident, but he could end up getting hurt again if the offensive line remains the way it is now. That's why I also have the Jets taking the offensive lineman, J.C. Latham from Alabama. They really need to work on this pass protection. And really, the offensive line in general, it's so bad.
Terrible.
So with the 11th pick, we got the Minnesota Vikings. I got them taking the edge from UCLA Latu. I don't want to butcher anyone's name, so I think they could benefit with what's Danielle Hunter's leaving, right? Free agency.
More than not free agency. He's on the trade block.
Well, okay, so they need a replacement. So that's where I had them taking an edge there.
I had them taking an edge also on my board. Dallas Turner is still available. Too many needs for him to be taken in the top 10, in my opinion. So he falls to the Vikings. Vikings will get a stud pass rusher. Maybe talks to Neil Hunter out of wanting to leave, but yeah, they need a pass rush regardless of if he stays or goes.
Yeah.
Our minds are all in the same place here. I ended up actually going with the interior defensive line. Really help them, get better at stopping the run with Jerzan Newton out of Illinois.
I like him a lot.
Yeah.
All right. Well, the number 12 pick, we got the Denver Broncos. I got him taking Terrion Arnold. I think for two reasons. I think they have Patrick Surtain on contract through this year, so they need to have a contingency plan for if he leaves in free agency next year, correct? And I might be wrong about his contract, but I believe his contract's up this year. And secondly, how nice would it be to have two stud first round Alabama cornerbacks in your backfield there, protecting the pass? I think that would be a huge help. I know they need a quarterback, but I think they can wait till the second round and get someone like JJ McCarthy.
See,
I had him going later in this round, but you know what I mean. Someone like Michael Penix, or anybody that's sitting out there at that point.
See, I had them going a little bit different route, still going defense. I think they need to address their pass rush terribly. Latu's available. He's my best available defensive end. So yeah, he goes to the Broncos.
The main reason why the Broncos defense sucked so bad last year was because they were absolutely terrible at stopping the run. I mean, the Dolphins put up 70 on them because they were just that terrible stopping the run. That's why I have them addressing that and taking Byron Murphy out of Texas. Okay. Big meteor men.
Bigger meteor men.
If those of you who haven't heard us make that joke before, we made this joke in our dynasty of NCAA football once. We decided we wanted to get our defensive line up to like 300 pounds everywhere. And that's when Matt was like, we need bigger, meteor men.
It's greasy boys. All right, number 13, we got the Las Vegas Raiders. I almost called them Oakland. The Las Vegas Raiders. This is where I had JJ McCarthy in this draft. Honestly, I can see any of these quarterbacks falling out of the first round. But the Raiders can use a new quarterback, especially since cutting Garoppolo. I think McCarthy doing so well in the playoffs. I think probably get him a first round pick, maybe second round pick.
I think they go quarterback also, and I think they're so desperate they reach for Bo Nix. So a couple of reaches at quarterback in this first round. But honestly, if they I can see them trading back to get Bo Nix or Michael Penix or whoever is available. I had corner here for a little bit, but I think quarterback is the biggest need by far.
Yeah, we're all on the same page here. We all think the Raiders are going to be going quarterback with this pick. I had JJ McCarthy. I mean, maybe they'll panic and trade up to get him, but either way, that's where I see that pick going.
Yeah. Number 14, we got the New Orleans Saints. I got them taking Jared Verse, the edge. I think he'd be a great addition to their defense. That's all I really got to say about that one there.
I think there's going to be a lot of cap casualties, and who is their tackle they got? Begins with a P. Pennell?
No.
Whatever his name is.
Yeah,
he hasn't really panned out. So I think there's going to be a few cap casualties. They're going to need to address the offensive line in that case. And Fuaga is available, and I have him as one of the better fits for the Saints.
Yeah, I see them going defense edge rusher here because the Saints pass rush just absolutely tanked this past year. It was among one of the worst in league. Cam Jordan, at his age now, is more of a run stuffer instead of a pass rusher. So they need someone who can get after the quarterback. These quarterbacks just had all day to throw against this team. I have them going Jared Verse here from Florida State. I'm honestly surprised that he's this low on boards. Because I always thought he might have been like the top defensive end, but it looks like, I'm sure some measurables or something probably has him a little bit lower. But he's a stud, and he's going to help the Saints get better on defense.
I'd agree. 15th, we got the Indianapolis Colts. I have them taking Cooper DeJean right here. I think he can play corner or safety, right?
Corner or safety.
I think he'd be a great addition to their defense. I think their defense is starting to get older, and they need to start addressing certain spots. So I think he'd be a great add. Could arguably be one of the best defensive backs in this draft.
I would agree with that.
Yeah.
But Terrion Arnold is available in mine, and they really need a stud corner to kind of anchor the secondary. So Terrion Arnold to the Colts.
For me, I think it's about building around Anthony Richardson and really giving him the number one receiver. This is where Malik Neighbors' slide ends, and the Colts end up grabbing him here. Give themselves the number one receiver. Maybe overall if Pittman leaves via free agency, but even if Pittman's back, they still need a top guy. So I think that's where they go with this pick, really helping Anthony Richardson by giving him all these weapons now.
All right, number 16, we got Seattle Seahawks. Seattle Sea Guys, as Marissa likes to say. This is where I have Jerzon Newton going. I think when I think about Seattle, it's like they got a quarterback that can play. They got a couple running backs. They got receivers. They got tight ends. They could go offensive line here. But I think defensively, they're going to need to start building that up again. So I go Jerzon Newton, best available defensive player, in my opinion, at that point.
I think you're onto something with the defensive line there, but I have mocked Jared Verse here since October, and I am not going away from that. Jared Verse and the Seattle Sea Guys just seem to fit, and it seems to be perfect. I'm going to stick with it.
Very nice. For mine, a lot of the defensive linemen kind of went a little bit earlier, so it was kind of a bit of a reach to get one here. So with that being said, the Seahawks have very much shown that they want to focus on the secondary, but they're still a piece away from having that dominant secondary they used to have. Terrion Arnold is that piece. They go with him here to get ready to defend the strong attacks in their division like the 49ers.
Next up, we got the Jaguars at 17. This is a good pick that I struggled with. I sat down and I thought, what did the Jaguars really lack last year? And I was really upset that they didn't make the playoffs. I felt that Trevor Lawrence could have had more time and more protection in the pocket. So I have them taking a center here. And I think he was one of the better offensive linemen available. But Jackson Powers Johnson, center from Oregon.
Yeah, I looked at their needs. I looked at where they were weak last year, and you could go interior offensive line, you could go secondary, but for me, it all comes down to stopping the run. I don't think they did a very good job at that, and Jerzon Newton's slide ends with the Jacksonville Jaguars.
See, there's a lot of needs here because all three of us went different routes with this pick. I was looking at too. Guess what? They also struggle with stopping the pass as well. So they really need a corner. I was really torn because there's a lot of good corners available here. Between Kool-Aid McKinstry, I've considered Mitchell here. But in the end, Nate Wiggins has the most athletic upside, and that's often what the Jaguars like to draft. So I think for them, Wiggins ends up being the pick.
Okay. Next up, we have just Cincinnati Bengals. And I think the Bengals, what they need most right now is there's going to be a glaring hole at right tackle when Jonah Williams leaves in free agency. I think it's pretty much a foregone thought that he's leaving. So I have them taking J.C. Latham here, offensive tackle from Alabama. I think the combination of him, Orlando Brown, and the couple other offensive linemen they have on the line, Joe Burrow should have more time to. I swear to God, he better have more time to throw the ball. I swear to God, man. If they can't figure this offensive line stuff out, I'm going to flip out.
So I got to preface my pick with saying fire Frank Pollock.
Yeah, what is he still
Um,
doing having a job?
I don't know.
He's less efficient than meteorologists.
He, he's less efficient than mock drafters.
Yeah, you
True
right.
that.
You right.
Uh,
Are we
I
all suckers?
Yeah, I have them going tackle also. I think their 60 million in cap is going to be spent elsewhere, and I mean JC Latham is the best available on my board, so going with JC Latham.
And I could see the Bengals like going a lot of routes in free agency. Like obviously, I believe they're franchise tag T Higgins, but I think they could go out and get an extra defensive tackle as well as bringing back DJ Reader. I can see
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, I had Newton here for a little bit, and I was like, I
I
don't
can
think
see
that's
that.
as glaring of a need.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, if
Yeah. No,
all these tackles are gone, I don't see why not.
Shut
but
up,
yeah,
Justin.
yeah.
Yeah, shut
I
up,
can.
Justin.
Hey, you shut up, damn it. Anyways, we like to mess around here. But yeah, I consider a lot of different routes, but it definitely is sounding more and more like T. Higgins to get franchise tags, so they don't go receiver here. I think they replace Tyler Boyd later on. I consider corner as well because they have a lot of young corners, and straight up, it's just not working at the moment. But in the end, I went with you guys and decided that offensive line is what they're going to be looking at to finally fix it because it really is the one thing that's been holding them back.
Yep.
All right, number 19, we got the LA Rams. I got Fuaga, the offensive tackle from Morgan State. I don't know how much more Matt Stafford has in his gas tank there, but I think ever since Andrew Whitworth retired, there's been a glaring hole in their offensive line. They need somebody to shore it up, much like the Bengals.
Yeah. The Rams have a lot of team needs, and that list could get a little longer depending on what Aaron Donald does. But I think losing Jalen Ramsey was huge for them. I think that secondary really hasn't been the same. Um, Quinion Mitchell from Toledo is a stud,
Toledo.
and he's my best available. I mean, you could go Kool-Aid McKinstry, you could go a couple different routes, but I think Mitchell is higher on my draft board, so the Rams go secondary here.
Yeah, this is a tough one because like you said, there's a lot of different ways they could go. I end up going safety with this one. Maybe they can get away with some lesser corners if they have a safety out back protecting. Cooper Dejon is that guy. He's the best available on my board at this point, so that's where the Rams going, getting the stud back there to help them try to go further in the playoffs next year.
All right, next up, we got pick 20, Pittsburgh Steelers. I'm not going to lie. I'm calling this the Pittsburgh panic because I was like, oh my God, what did they take here? Because then when I think of Pittsburgh, I think they're just on a slide, in my opinion. Although they didn't end up in last in the division last year. I really
and made the playoffs.
Yeah, I was. Come on, guys. You didn't want to win that one last game, guys. Come on. But I think they have a lot of spots they could take. So I kind of panicked here and I took Bo Nix. I definitely don't think Kenny Pickett is the man. I don't think he can do the job that they need. So I wouldn't be surprised if they took a quarterback here. They could go anywhere
So
though.
the combination of Mike Tomlin saying that they're sticking with Kenny Pickett, the fact that they got Artie Smith, a run-heavy offensive coordinator, just to me screams tackle. And they have a lot of holes on that offensive line, but anchoring down the edge rushers, stopping them from getting in the backfield is huge. Mims is the best available in my opinion, so I think they go tackle.
Yeah, to me it screams ground and pound. So with that being said, I have them going interior lineman with Jackson Powers Johnson. That's what you want in an interior lineman. Powers somewhere in the name. So that's where they go here to help. Powers Johnson really helped them just ground and pound them teams.
Yeah. 21, we got the Miami Dolphins. I got them taking Quinyon Mitchell. I think they have one of the best defensive backs the groups in the NFL with Jalen Ramsey and Xavier Howard, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah, Xavier.
I think they could add a little youth to the group though, and some fresh legs. And I know you're gonna probably lose one, if not both of them, eventually. So it's time to start thinking about the future.
They're way over cap. Um, Teron Armstead said he's not retiring, so he's coming back. But that offensive line is terrible. I think they start cutting some of the higher cap offensive linemen that are not producing. Tyler Guyton is available. He's going to Miami, in my opinion.
There's definitely a lot of ways I could go with this pick. They have a few holes on the defense to fill, but in the end, I went the same way that you went, Matt. I decided, the offensive line is definitely looking like their biggest need. I mean, when they faced top opponents, that was when Tua struggled to have time to throw. If Tua had time to throw, they were dangerous and they ripped you a new one. But when he didn't, it just did not work out. That's why I have them going with my top lineman on the board, Armarius Mims here.
Yeah. All right, number 22, we got the Philadelphia Eagles. I got them taking Kool-Aid McKinstry because it just, in my heart, I felt what was right for the Philadelphia Eagles. This is to take another defensive player in the first round. I think McKinstry is going to be a great addition to the NFL, and I think their defense is going to be even scarier next year.
I agree with that, but I have them taking Nate Wiggins. It just seems like Nate Wiggins and the Philadelphia Eagles go together like peanut butter and jelly. And I don't know. They need to stop people from passing. They could go offense too, but I really think that they would go corner. And for me, Nate Wiggins is the best available.
Yeah, outside of Darius Slay, the corner position was just a disaster for the Eagles this past year. So without a doubt, that's where they had to go. They love those Alabama and Georgia players, so that's why I have them going Kool-Aid McKinstry here.
Kool-Aid McKinstry.
So much fun to say his name.
Yeah.
Kool-Aid McKinstry.
I hope he gets like a sponsorship from Kool-Aid.
I mean,
Oh,
he
yeah.
has to.
Oh, yeah.
Kool-Aid is leaving money on the table if they go to an NIL deal.
What if they sue him for
or
copyright
not
infringement?
NIL, but you know what I mean.
You can't use our name. All right. Number 23, we got the Houston Texans. I think CJ Stroud had a wonderful season, probably, if not the best rookie quarterback season of all time, but one of the best rookie quarterback seasons of all time. So I think they go out and get him another weapon. They got him. I can't think of his name. They got Nico Collins, they got John Mechie, and the other guy they drafted Tank Dell.
No.
And I think those guys are great, but they need a guy that's going to be a possession receiver that's going to go down and get it. And I think a guy that did it this year was at Florida State was Keon Coleman. I think he's not the biggest guy, but I think he's got that speed that he can get past people, almost like a Tyreek Hill-ish.
See, I disagree with you on this one because since they have 3 good receivers and a possession tight end, I think they're going to go defense. And you could go secondary, you could go linebacker, even though linebacker would be a reach here. But I have them taking best available, and it's Chop Robinson from Penn State. I think Chop Robinson and Will Anderson would be one hell of a pass rush.
Yeah, that'd be a good one. I was very torn here. I thought about going offensive lineman for them here. When they lost to the Ravens in the playoffs, the biggest problem was that Stroud had no time to throw. So the offensive line needs some work. But in the end, Rome Odunze has dropped this far.
Offensive line.
Yeah, they do, but they just didn't have the time to throw against the Ravens.
The gumption.
So I think I agree with going with the top receiver here because Rome Odunze dropped.
Oh my God. Do you guys know that? Did you notice that Houston and Dallas are right next to each other? It's like it's made to be.
You mean in the draft or in
Yeah.
the state?
At both, really. I mean, come
Could be
on.
both, really.
All right, so in 24, I've got the Dallas Cowboys taking Byron Murphy. I think they're going to keep that big boy in Texas. Over the past few years, Dallas has been taking offensive tackles or defensive tackles in the first round, I've noticed. And most recently, they took Maisie Smith from Michigan, right?
Yeah.
Maisie. And
Yeah.
I don't think it's really
I think it's
panning out.
actually Mozzie.
Mozzie. Well, either way, I don't think it's working out, and I think they're going to need to find another guy that could do the job. Or if they're really going to hold on to Smith, I think they could use some depth, and I think Byron Murphy would be a great addition, and keep him in the state of Texas. You know,
I have them going a different route. Stephon Gilmore is hitting free agency. I think they need another
he's old too.
another stud corner. Mike Zimmer, former defensive back coach turned defensive coordinator, turned head coach, turned defense coordinator again. I think he goes with Kool-Aid McKinstry.
Kool-Aid McKinstry. Yeah, so
That's all I gotta
we'll
say
see
about
how my
that.
audio turns
That's all
out.
I gotta say about
My
that.
earbuds just went out mid-show. I have the Cowboys going offensive line here. One of the biggest issues they have was struggling to protect Dak. I did consider interior defensive lineman because, after all, another reason why they lost in the playoffs was because the Packers just ran all over them. But in the end, I decided offensive line is what they need to address here. They can always look at the interior defensive line in the next round.
All right, 25, Green Bay Packers. I have them taking Nate Wiggins here. I think they do have Alexander still, but I think having another guy out there, I think it'll take their team to the next level. Their defense is already pretty good, and if they could really shut down the pass, that would really be helpful.
See, I have them going with their, I don't know, it seems like their 10th Iowa corner in the first round, but was it
Mr. Mustard?
Cooper DeJean, Justin?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Dejan.
So
Mr. Mustard?
it just seems like Iowa corners go very well in Green Bay, and it seems like Cooper DeJean, Mr. Mustard,
I love
is
He needs
a
a
Packer.
deal too.
Yeah, I think we all end up in agreement here going with the secondary. How about us? How many years of mock drafting now did it take us before we finally gave up on mocking offensive players to the Packers? But
Took me a
yeah,
long
I think
time. This will be the year
we'll
they
see.
actually do it.
Well,
Probably because
Christian
we love the
Watson.
defense. But yeah, Mitchell ended up being the best corner available here, so that's where I ended up having them go. To really help boost that secondary.
All right, number 26. We got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I bet you know what I got, Matt. Chop, 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 chop. I got them taking Chop Robinson. I think that their defense could use a little love. I think he'd be a great addition.
I have them going interior offensive line here. Their Baker Mayfield just seemed to have to roll out a lot because of interior pressure. Jackson Powers Johnson just seems like the next Jason Kelsey.
Powers Johnson.
So I have them addressing the offensive line, seeing if they can run it back with Baker.
Yeah, no, I was very close to mocking a lineman here, but I also think that they're looking to address the secondary. That's why I have Cameron Kitchens, safety out of Miami, going here.
All right, next up we got 27. It's the Arizona Cardinals. I got them taking Tyler Guyton here. I think they got a wide receiver with their first pick in the first round, and I think that if Kyler Murray is going to have any success, he needs some more protection. They got Paris Johnson last year from Ohio State. I think they could always keep adding more offensive linemen because I think more Kyler Murray runs, the likelihood of him getting hit and getting concussion or something, knocking him out of the game, and that'll just end their season right there.
Arizona Cardinals need quite a bit.
They have a lot of stuff.
Yes, a whole lot. Their run game was terrible. You could go edge rusher here, you could go corner, you can go safety, you can go linebacker, you can go to offensive lineman, you could reach for a running back, you can go with another receiver. I have them going with Byron Murphy getting that run stop, being big meaty men.
Yeah, I also see them going defense. I think that's going to be something they're going to want to look at. Pew pew pew. The defensive guy. So yeah, I think they completely lack talent at corner. So that's why I have them going with Lassiter out of Georgia here to really help them get a top cover guy in that position.
I'm just gonna have to say this, guys. Just so you guys out there in the world know, I have nothing to do with this bigger, meteor men. I've never, you know, built an offense or defense around that. This is news to me too.
You are in this by association now.
I've heard it a couple times in these in our podcast, and I'm just like, I don't know what they're doing about this bigger, meteor men, guys. I don't. It's a little uncomfortable. All right, then where are we at? 28.
28.
Oh, it's the Buffalo Bills. It's Justin's team, guys. I think that they're gonna have to cut a lot. They're what, 56 something million.
They're in salary cap hell. We'll be honest.
So there's gonna be a lot of cuts. I think you could even consider just Stephon Diggs as a cut, which I wouldn't recommend. But I think as far as dollars go, they're gonna have to do some big cuts. I think a lot of it's gonna be in defense, but I think they could fill a hole by drafting a wide receiver. Could have gone two ways. I was thinking Brian Thomas, which is what I have here, or Donnie Mitchell. I think they'll go wide receiver.
I agree with Brian Thomas going here. I don't know why the Bills logo just kind of disappeared from my graphic, but
they're not there anymore. They said goodbye.
Brian Thomas just gets picked, and there's no team there.
I know. It's just like this is like the AP poll when they don't know what to do when their new team enters the rankings.
Yeah, I think they have to go receiver. Same reasons for Chad. I think regardless of if they keep Stephon Diggs or not, they're going to need another receiver. And Brian Thomas Jr., I really had him higher for quite a while, but just kind of the way things worked out, he fell to the Bills.
Yeah, I mean, it's what we're probably going to end up seeing where receivers drop. Gabe Davis is for sure not coming back because they have no money to sign him. I think they're looking for that kind of replacement, that bigger receiver, and that's why they go Keon Coleman here.
I like that pick too.
Yeah.
So 29 here, we got Detroit Lions. It should have been 32. But and this one was hard for me because it's like I thought they did so well. It's like, where do they really need help? I thought offensive line on every team could use a little help. So I have them taking Graham Barton, guard from Duke here. It was just the best available guard for me at this point. But I do think they could take any position on the line and just shuffle some people they needed.
Guard is a big need for them. They could go edge rusher, they could go corner, they could go quite a few things, kind of to just fill some holes. But the number one thing about the Lions is you gotta score, and in order to do that, you got to protect Goff, and you got to be good at the run. And to do that, you got to get a good interior lineman. Graham Barton's available; they go with him.
I could have sworn you were going to say something about bigger, meteor men again.
That your last chance, Matt. Or maybe we could squeeze one more in.
However, bigger meteor mock draft.
We have another one of our ranked jokes here to run back one last time. Detroit Lions go chop. They have Aiden Hutchinson, who's a stud on the defensive line, but they don't really have anyone else who can get after the passer. Teams are able to try to triple block Aiden Hutchinson, and then Lions kind of struggle to get at the quarterback after that. So that's why I have
Charles Harris. They got Charles Harris. He actually led the team in sacks 2 years ago.
He was solid, but they still need another edge rusher.
You're wrong.
Yeah. Number 30, we got. I don't even like to say this team. I can't stand them so much. The Baltimore Ravens. I got them taking a spot that they have a big hole with Marlon Humphrey leaving. I have them taking Kamari Lassiter. They at this spot. I think he'll almost fill that hole. I think he's got a little bit of growing to do, but I think he'd be a good fit for the Ravens.
See, I had been mocking a receiver here for a little bit, but I think ultimately they go with the third most important position in football. They get another edge rusher.
Kicker.
They go with Darius
Kicker.
Robinson, Missouri.
Mizzou.
Second most important punter. I've been going with an interior lineman here to really help with that because I feel like they've been trying to address receiver. They got Lamar extended, but the interior of the line just seems to be lacking a little bit. And I don't know if that's why Todd Monken decided to completely abandon the run against the Chiefs. But for whatever reason, they didn't have confidence in it. Maybe get that interior lineman will give them some more confidence in the run game in key moments, but that's why I've been going with Graham Barson here.
Bigger, meatier men.
Yes, you get bigger.
Now I'm involved. I'm invested in
I
this.
told you were already
Hi, guys,
involved.
they drug me in here. I didn't want to end this. All right, number 31, we got the 49ers. I got Amarius Mims going here. It's a hard one for me because I feel like the 49ers are one of the more well-rounded teams. Even their offensive line, you think about like spots in their offensive line. It's like, do they even really need to replace it? But how nice would it be to have Trent Williams on one side and Amarius Mims on the other?
Yeah, I have them going tackle also. They lost what's his name from Notre Dame? Mike McDonald. McGlinchey. They shut up. They need a bigger, meatier man.
God damn it.
They need a better tackle, especially if they want to compete against the Chiefs next year again. Troy Fontenot.
Yeah, so we're all on the same page here. I think when Brock Purdy actually played super well, but one of the times like when he struggled was because teams got after him. So obviously shoring up that protection will prevent that from happening in the future. I did want to mock a corner here because I felt like that was their biggest need, but there really just wasn't one who wasn't a big reach to the spot. Maybe they trade back. I don't have this in this mock because we're only looking at the first round. That's why I have Tyler Guyton going here.
I think it'd be a good fit there too. So 32, we got the Kansas City Chiefs. Boo. Taylor Swift selects Adonai Mitchell, wide receiver from Texas. I think they could also either him or Xavier Worthy, either one really. But they need to get Mahomes some more weapons.
I think Mitchell's gonna start flying up draft boards once the combine is over.
Yeah,
I honestly think he could go like anywhere in the early 20s.
I think a lot of those Texas offensive guys are going to start shooting up there.
Yeah, I think Worthy is a late first round, early second round pick, kind of like T. Higgins was. I have Keon Coleman going here. He kind of takes a little bit of a slide. He had an amazing year last year, but falling to the Chiefs is really not that bad of a.
Yeah, it must suck to fall to the Chiefs, huh?
Yeah.
I know.
Mahomes can throw it to anybody in any spot.
Oh no!
Oh yeah.
Oh, poor guy.
He gets to hang out with Taylor Swift after the game. Oh man.
Yeah.
Gonna win another Super Bowl. Oh no!
Swift or no Swifting.
Oh, no. Yeah. In my case here, Brian Thomas Jr. is the one that falls to them. We're all on the same page here. They need a receiver, and Thomas is the best available on my board at this point.
Well, that is the first round of our second mock draft. You guys got anything to add?
I'm sorry about my camera, guys. My computer is old and it's not making it anymore. So I had to do this on my phone tonight. Just letting the people know what's going on. Why is Chad like twisting all over the place?
The people don't know, but we did spend I think 30 minutes before the show trying to sort out Chad's computer.
Yeah, just computer issues, not even anything else.
So
Yeah.
guys know like the light on the top of it's a MacBook. I turned it off, but the light keeps just flashing on randomly. So either my computer's really messed up or I got a ghost hanging out with me, one way or the other.
Oh, probably the ghost for sure.
Yeah, the ghost of Christmas past.
Yeah, I was about to say
You
that.
need a new computer.
Well, I got nothing else. Give us a like, a subscribe. Follow us on all social media. Right now, our Twitter is the most active thing we have. We do more than just NFL. We talk college football, baseball, basketball. You name it, we're down to talk about it.
Hey,
Yeah, help us
So-
quit our day jobs.
College basketball season's in session right now.
Yeah, maybe soon we'll be able to get a March Madness show out.
Do
We'll
some
see what
brackets.
we can do. Yeah.
Yeah, do some brackets.
It'd be really cool.
We'll
to
lose
get
some money on that.
dry erase boards like they did with the presidents.
Yeah.
I
Get
can
them
try to
boots.
see if I can get one behind me here, but
Oh yeah, that'd be
Yeah,
cool.
you like it behind you.
that'd be great.
All right.
And that's what's up, dog, guys.
Yeah. Before this show gets out of hand, we gotta go.
All
All
right.
right. I'll see you guys.
See
Peace.
you, everyone.